coming to you live from Fayetteville, Arkansas in the beautiful Appleby Business Center studios. It's time for Northwest Arkansas Business Radio with Adam Robison. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adam Robison, and you have caught another exciting episode of Northwest Arkansas Business Radio, the place where Northwest Arkansas comes to find out what people are doing to make themselves a success, to reach their dreams, and just to make a difference in the lives of other people. And today, we have one of those people in studio with us. Love to introduce you to Andrew Brink, who is the market president for Armor Bank, a new bank coming to the area, should be open in October. Andrew, go ahead and say hello to the listeners of Northwest Arkansas Business Radio and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey guys, glad to be here. Thanks for having me, Adam.
Absolutely.
Man, I'm ready to start up a new bank up here. I know there's plenty of them up and down the street, but we think we're a little different and excited to tell everybody about it.
Well, just visiting with you before we went live on the air, let me know more about you and what's going to be unique about this bank, and I'm really excited to talk to our listeners about it. Now, you're a hometown boy, right? You've been around here for a little while.
That's right. I'm a little bit of a unicorn, I think. Grew up in Elkins, spent most of my life there and went away for school and came back here. I think this is the greatest place to be. Can't wait to have my kid grow up here.
Yeah, so what made you decide to switch schools? Like you went up to Kansas, played a little football, and you're back at the University of Arkansas, which I love, don't get me wrong, but I'm curious, what was the motivation for the switch?
Yeah, I would normally tell people it was because I wanted to get a better education, but I think the real answer is there was a girl, so I had to come back down here.
There's always a girl,
There's
man.
always a girl. So I came back down here, graduated from the U of A at the Walton School, and started a career in banking.
Wow, that sounds awesome. So, sounds like you've been really kind of busy trying to get this bank going, right? I'm seeing you at every single event I go to. Looks like you're ready to make a difference in Northwest Arkansas. Listen, I'm curious. So in the past, you've been a loan officer and an underwriter. How did that banking experience beforehand prepare you for your role as market president and Rogers at Armor Bank?
Yeah, so I got to see a lot of people and how they handle really the arts and sciences of banking, and that's one of the things that's really takes a while to grasp. Everybody talks about debt service coverage ratios or LTV or fixed charge coverage, but then really there's just the dealing with people, and that was one of those things you got to learn. But through my career, I think I've picked up a few of the better things to do.
Yeah, dealing with people, it's the ultimate wild card, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you never know who's going to bring what scenario through the door, and you've got to be ready for all of them. And so I trust that you're prepared for that. Why Armor Bank? What made you want to work for that team and that organization?
Yeah, I think the thing that's important to know anytime you're switching is know that you're working for a good family, you're working for a good leadership group. And really when I thought about the things that were important to me, it just really aligned. They talk about a utopian-like work environment. And in my time there, I've kind of seen that.
A utopian work environment. What does that look like?
Yeah, man, everyone having a voice. So, we're almost myopic in our focus on the customer. And so when you have all of your team members just laser focused on providing a seamless customer experience, if anyone sees a road bump or something that could be a little bit better, man, bring it up. Let's get it fixed and improve the way that we go to market every day.
Wow. So sounds like a really healthy team that's learning how to communicate with each other. I mean, great job. That's what I want in a team that's going to bank for me and help me out with my financial awareness, financial literacy, and all of that other great stuff that I know banks partner with their customers in to form. Let's talk about this motto that you've told me about that Armor Bank has, Simplify Banking, which sounds incredibly attractive to me. I love the idea of my banking finally becoming simple. But talk about how that slogan kind of works through the DNA of Armor Armor Bank, and maybe even filter some of the decisions you might make as market president?
Yeah, so the slogan "Simplify Banking" comes from the stance that people, when they conduct business, generally flow much like water. It's the path of least resistance.
That's cool.
And so we understand that. We understand that it's less about having layers of approval and red tape that you really got to deal with that maybe some other folks provide their customers. No, we want to break those. We want to give a seamless experience. And so when we talk about simplified banking, it's about making sure that every time that you interact with our team, it's seamless.
Wow.
Right? Easiest way you could do it, fast, simpler, just better.
Yeah. So I'm hearing you use words like team, teamwork, not so much my staff, the people that work for me. I'm hearing a very different culture that you're wanting to set up. So let's talk about your team. Let's talk about the team that's going to be at Armor Bank and Rogers. Just describe them a little bit. What's it like to work with this crew of people, and how do you think it's going to influence the day-to-day at the branch?
Yeah. So, one of the things that's really important to me is, two things: extreme ownership. That's said by Jocko Willink.
Yeah.
I love it. Decentralized command. That's another thing. But really, the number one thing is just communication. I think a lot of times people maybe get siloed in some of their functions. No, I want everybody to have a seat at the table. We're going to go to market as a team together, and we'll accomplish one goal. And I think providing just a superior culture than the 40 other banks in the 2-county area.
Wait. 40 banks?
40 banks.
In 2 counties?
2 counties, yeah. There's enough to go around for everybody.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, we feel like we have a better culture. And I think, my time playing football, you might have a stronger, more athletic team on the field. Mm-hmm. But if the guys in the locker room all love each other and all, go to battle, a lot of times the team with the stronger culture might, and sometimes a lot of times, beat the team with maybe a little bit more athleticism.
That's true. I mean, you see it week in and week out on television, no matter what sport you're watching. Sometimes there's a team that on paper should not have won, but they were clearly the team that showed up to play that week, right?
Yeah, it's the Jimmies and Joes, not the X's and O's.
There you go. I love the way you put that. That's great. Now, as you begin your job as market president at the Rogers branch of Armor Bank, and I'm guessing there will be more branches one day, right? That's the plan?
Yeah, we had to plant a flag, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had to come up here. We knew we needed to be up here. I've lived up here my entire life, so I'm pretty biased. It's God's country,
Sure.
but we knew that we needed to plant a flag. We thought that our location at Horse Barn and 52nd was a great location. I still feel that way. And as we grow our team, grow our market share, I think we'll look to expand in the region. But really, we're focused on what we bring to the Rogers market and then Northwest Arkansas as a whole.
Yeah. So I asked you this question before we went on the air, and I thought you did such a great job answering it. I'm going to ask you again so that everybody else can hear it. Not just at Armor Bank, even though that's the only one we're talking about. So let's talk about Armor Bank. How do you know if what you're doing is working or winning with the people? How do you know how do you define the win?
Yeah, so obviously we'll add accounts, we'll add a client roster day in and day out, but really tough for us to define because we have a mentality of a never-ending goal line, right? We might add 5 new clients today, we might add 10 next month, but you just keep going and keep moving, and really just having the mentality that it never stops. I think you don't want to rest on your laurels, but just keep that mentality that we're going to keep going forward.
Yeah. Now, I know as market president, you've got experience working in other roles at other banks. So what is it that makes Armor Bank so special?
We're the anti-big bank.
What?
The anti-big bank.
Okay, now I feel like you're throwing stones when you say that. So go ahead and tell us what that means.
Yeah, I mean, if it takes a month to get a decision on something, man, that's too long. Mm-hmm. If it takes multiple meetings to get a project across the finish line, That's too much, man.
Yeah.
So, we look at it as if it's such a challenge to do business, and it goes back to our simplified banking, and that's too tough. It's too tough for people. So, it's a larger thought being the anti-big bank. It really spawns from our ideology of simplified banking.
Yeah, wow. That's an audacious goal to set, to be the anti-big bank, but it's so necessary. In a former life, I worked at a bank in the area, and it was just like that. It seemed like we were always waiting for a decision. We were always waiting for feedback, and it's a little difficult sometimes. And so if you could simplify that process, then I think you're definitely on your way to a great idea. As we look into the future, now I know it's hard to forecast problems that you may have or struggles that you may have, but specifically in your role as market president, what are some potential hang-ups or things that may create a barrier of some sort that you need to be prepared for?
I think keeping a close eye on the market. Obviously we're a community bank. We invest in our community, and we want to be there for all of our community members. But there are macro factors you can't foresee. I think that's the number one thing, is just making sure that the economy is moving in the way that it needs to be.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so just staying aware of what's going on in the news and understanding the needs of your customers, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
locking arms and moving forward with them every day.
love that. Just doing life, right?
Yeah.
That's what you got to do, right? You just do life with people and be kind to them, and do them right. You're going to be in great shape. Let's talk about just your leadership philosophy. So as you make decisions for the market in Rogers for Armor Bank, what types of things do you consider when you're presented with a tough decision to make?
Yeah, the number one consideration that I have is the team first, and for me, the team starts locally and goes up the chain, if you will, right? If we're doing something on a local level, it's a challenge. How does that impact the team here? But as we grow larger, you think about the banking team. So that's the first consideration I make, and I think it served me well in my career.
Sure, I'd say so too. How do you make sure that your team comes up with, not just your team, but I'm talking about idea facilitation. The words aren't coming out right, but when it's time for you and your team to sit down and come up with new ideas, fresh approaches, all of that good stuff, how do you lead that conversation? Yeah,
it's a customer first mentality, right? You try to come up with new ideas and stay relevant. It's how can we more effectively serve our clients every day? And I think through that you'll find great ideas. Mm-hmm. So as long as we're following that and laser focused on the needs of our customers, our friends, our neighbors, I think we'll perform every day. Awesome.
The other day I was out driving with my mama. She's in her 60s, and she was just talking about her bank and whatnot, and she was like, "Oh, let me pull out my ATM card and we'll go by the bank." I hadn't heard it called an ATM card in 20 years, right? Now it's a debit card or a credit card, which leads me to my next question. When you think about all of the changes that are just consistently coming at the banking industry, whether it's the advent of a new technology or people wanting to be more engaged with their bank or whatever, how do you stay fresh and updated for all of these new changes that are hurled your way?
Yeah, talking day in and day out with our clients. I think as we talk about how our team goes and interacts with folks, it's about building a personal and professional network. And when you have just ongoing conversations with your clients and your friends and your neighbors, you really understand what frustrates people, what's new, what's coming. I would have never thought that ChatGPT would come into my daily life. But in talking with customers and in talking with you, it seems like it's kind of an all-encompassing thing. And I can see how that would move its way into banking.
Yeah, absolutely. I could see that. People are so afraid of what if AI takes over humankind? And I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think you're going to have humans that use AI and then humans that don't want to. But I don't think anything's ever going to happen to where we we lose humanity. Knock on wood. Let's hope. There are a lot of scary movies that point in that direction, but
Sure.
let's hope real life isn't that scary. So anyway, I'm sure that there are young people out there, maybe even professionals in the banking community that are looking to one day be a market president. It's a pretty incredible job that carries a lot of responsibilities. If we have listeners out there that are saying, man, I want to be Andrew Brink when I grow up, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I asked this question as a young banker myself, and I got told, man, just follow the do right rule. As long as you do right by your customers, by your friends, by your family, people are going to see, and they're going to know that you're a man or woman of integrity. You're someone they can trust, and the more that people trust you, the more that they're going to want to bank with you. It's funny. If you look back, banking was based on the Latin term for credit, and it's trust. So that's why you see banking and trust and all those things.
I didn't know that.
So the biggest thing is following those rules, following the golden rule, the do right rule, build the trust. People will naturally want to move towards you.
That's an incredible answer. So I know you're just now getting started, and this branch in Rogers is going to open, the first of a few in Northwest Arkansas, is what it looks like. As you're getting started opening and preparing for the future, I'm wondering, what does the future, like years down the road, look like for Armor Bank in Northwest Arkansas?
Yeah, I think it's more locations, a bigger team, and just more impact on the community. Obviously, as I said earlier, we had to plant a flag, but as we all know, growth is just something in human nature. So we'll continue to invest and be more present in the community. I would expect us to have, I don't want to say a branch on every corner. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But we'll be where we need to be, and we'll be there serving our clients every day.
There you go. Now, what I've loved about this interview, and we're only about 20 minutes into it or so, but I think we've said so much regarding just the philosophy of Armor Bank. You keep saying we're going to have conversations. We're going to talk to people. We're going to stay plugged in and involved. We're going to be right there with them. What I love is that echoes John Maxwell, world-renowned leadership expert that I absolutely love, consume all of his books. But he defines, in developing the leader in you, he defines leadership as influence, nothing more and nothing less. So talk to us about how Armor Bank is positioning itself to be an influence in the lives of its customers.
By providing the services that they need in the most simple way possible.
Love it.
I think it's the simplest answer I could give you.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. So for you, last question, what's the most exciting part of being the market president for Armor Bank in Rogers, Arkansas?
Oh, man. Number one thing, building a team. I have enjoyed getting to meet everybody, feeling the excitement in the community. Obviously, we're out telling our story every day.
Sure.
And we're furthering that message. I love that, from 7 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock at night, I'm just plugged in.
Yeah.
My wife may not be as happy with that, but it just gets me up every day. I think finding somewhere with a mission and a vision that you share, and it'll eat you up.
Yeah.
You just want to go do it every day, and that's been really exciting for me. I've really enjoyed our marketing efforts, going out and telling the story, recruiting, meeting folks like you. It's just been a ton of fun, and I can't wait to see how much we do up here.
Man, I can't wait to see it either. I'm so intrigued by this idea of simplifying banking, making banking simple, because to me it seems like a bit of an oxymoron. But I think if anybody can do it, it'll be you. Just because I see the determination in your face, but I also hear the just heartfelt compassion and connection that you already feel to the people in Rogers, and that's pretty cool. So, yeah. Andrew, for people who are listening to this interview today, they may want to learn more about you and more about Armor Bank. How can they do that?
Man, look me up on LinkedIn. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, I'm all on the socials. You can find us on our website, armor.bank. get to know us, get used to seeing us.
Yeah, I think you're going to be around for a little while, especially if everyone has the heart and tenacity that you carry. I think it's going to be a fantastic team that's going to lead the charge in opening a wonderful bank. So thanks so much for coming today. I appreciate you being so generous with your time. Andrew Brink, Market President in Rogers, Arkansas of the Armor Bank that is coming to Rogers in October. On behalf of everyone at Armor Bank, my name is Adam Robison, and you've been listening to another episode of Northwest Arkansas Business Radio. We can't wait to see you next time. Be good to everybody. We'll talk to you soon.